Oh my gosh, we are on episode 96. Episode 96. I have another amazing guest here today. I'm so excited. Our first in-studio guest, too. Right here. Oh, yeah, he's got the sound going, too. Oh my goodness. Judi Gregory, you are here, and I'm so stoked to have you.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
100%. Okay, let me tell you, I'm just going to say a few amazing things about her because I've known you for how long now, Judi?
Like 15 years, 16 years.
I didn't even know all this about you that I just learned today. Okay, all right. She's an incredible lady, which I already knew that. She has 3 boys. That's how we met, through Scouts.
Yes.
Because I have 4 boys, for those of you who didn't know that. She's the owner of Go to Zero Strategies and has worked in the recycling and solid waste management field for over 25 years. She loves talking trash. And I could just list her achievements from setting up recycling programs at some of the largest movie studios in the world, Paramount Studios, NBC, ABC, CBS, and Warner. Well, I feel like a name dropper. And more importantly, her nonprofit work that has been endlessly successful with her online training platform, which she's going to talk more about. I am just going to say, I'm so excited. Wow, I didn't even know that we got to name drop all this cool stuff. I'm just she's got to be on the show because I want to talk trash, and I never get to talk trash. And for our real estate clients out there, recycling is something that everyone needs to be doing. Eric tells me all the time that we're not doing it well enough, and I think I'm going to learn a lot about that right now. So tell me, what is it? Why trash? Why did you choose trash? Tell me more about that.
Okay, great. Well, we're definitely going to talk trash. It's something that has been a part of my life since basically second grade. My second grade teacher had a competition, and I think you're a competitive person as well, maybe a little bit.
You know I am.
And so, this was back before the days of aluminum cans. Most beverage containers were in glass, tin, bimetal, but aluminum can was something new. Yes. And so as part of those early days of Earth Day back in the early mid 70s, she had a competition and said, whoever brings in the most aluminum cans gets to go to the recycling center and then gets to go to McDonald's with the money we make.
Wow.
So as a second grader, that was my motivation.
I know that.
And I happened to live in a apartment complex at the time. So we had all these dumpsters. And beer was about the only thing that was an aluminum can. So I started dumpster diving, literally jumping in the dumpsters, opening up the trash cans, looking for the beer cans that were aluminum. And I won that competition.
Of course.
As another thing I think you'll understand is that entrepreneurial spirit.
Yes.
I realized people are throwing money away. I can make money as a second grader, and it just sort of stayed with me forever. So moving on through high school and college, I collected recyclables to make a little extra cash. And in the late 90s, California passed some historic legislation that basically created a pathway for developing recycling in the state. Prior to that, there wasn't a lot going on. And I got to sort of be the beginning of that momentum. And it's been actually 35 years now of doing it. And just sort of building on those initial days of being a kid, collecting recyclables to now helping set up programs all throughout the state.
So wait a minute, rewind. Okay. You were what age when you started dumpster diving?
7.
I love that because I can affiliate with that because I remember when I was in Girl Scouts and they told me to go sell Girl Scout cookies. And I was like, oh, okay. And I started making like I was competitive, as you said, right? And I'm like, okay, I'll sell cookies. Ooh, I'm winning. And then I got into the candy business because they had me like, you parents all think that this stuff isn't valuable, right? Oh, just write a check. this is character building for our youth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, okay, great, write a check, but still make them go sell it.
Right.
Because I had to sell candy and go door to door. And guess what I do now? And I love it, right? And look what it's inspired you to live the life that you love.
Yes, yes.
Who knew that dumpster diving would inspire you to live the life you love?
Well, what's crazy is that now it's kind of the thing to do, right? Like there's freegans and there's people that do dumpster diving all over to dig stuff out of the trash because we've become a disposal society. We've become a society that buys products constantly. The average lifespan of a product in our home, 90% of the things we purchase are disposed within 6 months. So, yes, that's sad. So it's really about, and over the last 35 years, things have changed. I mean, 25 years ago, we barely had blue bins at our households, right? Those weren't even there yet. Yes. So the landscaping is changing, and it's been a super exciting opportunity over the years to be able to help build that infrastructure, help build the programs, do the outreach, train people. It's never boring.
I can imagine. I can imagine. So, okay. How did you feel when you said obviously it's never boring, right? So how did you feel when you got to the point where you're in the business that you are today, right? What was the process to get there? What did that really look like for you?
Mm-hmm. Well, interestingly enough, the early part of it, so, 35 years ago, trash was predominantly a male dominated industry. It also, most of the trash companies were small independents owned by Armenian immigrants and their families. And so being a very young female entering the job place, I had to find a spot for myself. And basically it was a lot of learning, learning the operational side. I mean, most people don't think about their trash. No. You put a bin out and you have no idea, but the solid waste industry is the sixth largest industry in the United States. And you don't realize that so many people are touching your trash and recyclables. And so just learning that this whole industry existed and then figuring out the constant changes. California has been extremely progressive, one of the most progressive states in the United States in terms of passing legislation and doing new things. So we've just seen this industry grow and change, and just trying to stay ahead of it in how we educate. That's the biggest part. Is the education, but setting up programs that are going to work, that are going to be cost effective for the residents and the businesses, that are going to be convenient, because if they're not convenient, then people don't participate. And just in making sure that people do it right, because one of the biggest things is contamination. We have contamination, then our programs aren't working. So it's just been educating too. I think one of the neatest things about it is, as I said, when I got in, I was kind of an only person. And now this industry is adding hundreds, maybe even thousands of new people to the workforce each year, with these new jobs of being recycling coordinators and zero waste coordinators and sustainability and outreach that never existed before. So just watching the new generation come in, but realizing they need to get trained and go out there and make an impact. Yeah,
the value of it, right? Like, so I can say this, okay. As you know, if you follow me on Instagram, and if you're not, you should be. Okay. I just came back from vacation. Judi is on Instagram. I'm on Instagram. She follows me. She knows I just came back from beaching it in Cabo San Lucas. And here's the interesting thing. I swam, and then my youngest son, and then my husband swam over to the little island, right? Because I was like, I just want to be able to, I'm almost 50. I just want to be able to be confident and swim from the boat to the little island. So my 16-year-old, who's almost 17, he came over, and my husband came over too. And I was like, yes, I did it. And then my husband and my 16-year-old were like, oh my gosh, look at these beer cans. Look at these beer cans. And I was like, that That's interesting. That they picked up those beer cans, swam them back to the boat, but they will walk through my entire house and not pick up one piece of trash. What the heck? Thank you, Nolan, for accentuating that. Because I'm just going to tell you, one, I was so proud of them. Because I was like, guys, just throw it like way back, right? Because I didn't think they'd be able to swim it back. But they were like, no, Mom, this is going to cause problems for the animals in the sea and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And it's not blah, 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 but you understand, right? Yeah. I was like so like proud of them.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm just going to swim me back because it was a lot of work for me to get me over here.
Right.
But they totally did. They swam it back and they put it in the recyclery bins and they were so worried about it. So I would say 100%, like the things that the industry is putting out there, our younger generation is hearing.
Yes. Yeah. And I
love that.
Yeah, it's something that you definitely see. And I think even living close to the coast, we see the problems of plastics, right? Single-use plastics ending up in the water and affecting, wildlife and ocean life. And so we definitely see it, but it's something that, you look back 25, 30 years ago and we didn't have these conversations. We weren't seeing these impacts. And now there's definitely a lot of support for cleaning up the environment, creating a space that's going to be still good for our generation after generation coming down. So,
I love that because as I think right now, I'm like, my 16-year-old who slammed those beer cans back to the boat is in charge of the recyclery bin at home. And I got to harp him to take care of it. My recycling bin's always way overflowing.
As the person who's the recycler, my kids have grown up with me and they do the same things. I don't think.
So tell me, what makes you most passionate about what you do for a living?
It's just basically everything. I mean, it's the people, first of all. I think that I have a group of trashy ladies that we have these group texts and we have these group Zoom meetings and things that we do to stay connected, to constantly share with one another, networking, how we can share, each of us has our own little areas of expertise and just being, in that collaboration and partnership with one another. So it's definitely the people. I mean, it's really the fact that I feel like I'm doing something that has meaning, like you said, that's helping us create a better environment, that's helping us educate people. I think the thing that I'm most passionate about, though, is that my job is never the same. Yeah. So I've had the opportunity to do crazy things, like you said, set up recycling programs at all those movie studios, which was a long time ago. But then I'll get a chance to teach classes. So, I was teaching at the colleges and that was something different. Developing curriculum, going out in the field and training new people. And recently, in the last couple of years, it went from being me to expanding the company to where now we have over 30 people that all have an opportunity to come in and work and make a difference. So it's really just opening those doors and giving other people a forum for making a difference and doing something that they love. Yeah.
I just love it. One, you've got a woman-owned business. Woo! Woohoo! Rock star, I'm telling you, right? Me just opening formally my real very own business. So I'm a little overwhelmed with that idea. I'm like, oh, if the printer breaks, it's on me.
Making sure the payroll money's in the bank and all those things. Yeah.
Yes, I was just doing that because I came on vacation. I was like, whoo, okay, money in the bank.
Yes. Yep.
Right? All that stuff, the fact that you still do all of that and yet you make such a huge impact in the world.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. You're willing to move that forward. That says so much. I just finished reading, and I'm a big reader. I love reading, and I just finished reading Thou Shalt Prosper, right? Fantastic book written by a rabbi. And one of the things that he said in that book was, people who are going to prosper or those that are willing to invest in the world today for future generations.
Oh, I love that.
And amen
love
to
it.
you. You're doing it.
Oh, thank you.
Right?
Yeah.
You're not living for you. You're not living for consumer, because as you said off podcast, right? Before we started recording, so much of that is where we're at, where everyone's living for now. They're living for their moment now, and they want to make this huge impact now for them. You're living for your future generations. You're living for your great-grandchildren and your grandchildren, and if you should have any of those. I don't think I'm going to get any.
I know, I'm feeling the same way too. Fingers crossed.
But, that's down the road. No pressure. No pressure. Our children are so young.
I know.
So you mentioned the new legislation that's happening for recycling. What and how should our homeowners, business owners, everyone that comes in touch with trash? We all do it, and I think we all could probably do it a lot better, right?
Yeah.
What do we need to know about that? Keep it simple so that my homeowners and my investors and my business owners can be like, yes, I can make one little difference today and do it that way.
Okay. So this is super important. There is new legislation that passed in California. So I really want to spread this message that don't get mad with your city. Don't get mad with your mayor and your council person. Don't get mad with your trash company, because this is state legislation that every city in California now has to comply with as of January this year. And what it says is that all residents, businesses, and even multifamily complex residents have to participate in separating out their recyclables and organics from the trash. So we are seeing these programs roll out across California. I'm a San Dimas resident.
Yeah.
We just started ours this year, and Waste Management sent to us the information about it. A lot of people aren't participating, but it is a required program that we now have to put things like our food scraps and food soil paper, like paper napkins, things like that, in with the yard waste.
Okay.
And paper.
I'm not participating. Shoot.
Yeah. And paper and cardboard should go in your recycle bin.
Okay. We were already doing that.
And no longer putting stuff in the trash. It's very important that even though this is a state legislation, every single city rolls this out differently. It depends on who the hauler is. It depends on which facilities they use. So some is so important. Some cities want you to bag your food scraps and put it in with your green waste loose. Others say no bags. So it's really important.
What's San Dimas say?
That San Dimas says no bags.
Okay.
And so you put it loosely with your green waste, and they're going to compost it. Other processes are going to take the bagged food waste out, and they're going to anaerobically digest it. So turn it into energy. So it's important that you check with your city, check with your hauler, and make sure that you do it correctly. And then I'm going to give you a quick tip. I know I've been living in trash my whole life, and yet I was completely disgusted. Yeah.
So you know it's not trashy.
It wasn't, it was very trashy this last couple of weeks with the summer because we put our food waste in loose. I live in a patio, not a lot of landscaping to mix that with. So I got maggots everywhere. Ugh, gross, right?
Yeah.
In the heat, in the summer, if you're putting meat and bones and fish and cheese and things like that in your trash, that could be something that happens. So a couple quick tips.
Please
if
do.
you have a garage freezer, like an extra freezer, keep those food scraps, just save any Tupperware, put them in there and freeze them until the day the trash goes out.
Good.
Right.
idea.
So that's one option. If you happen to use paper towels or things like that, line the buckets with the paper towels so that if you're not freezing it, at least it's kind of absorbing some of the liquid. So you don't have all the ooey gooey. And if you're using bags, if your city requires bags, don't think you have to buy special bags. We don't want anything biodegradable. By the way, biodegradable is not biodegradable. It's not environmentally sustainable. So don't buy any of that BS. Don't buy Don't buy biodegradable.
Gotcha.
But use an old bread bag. Or if you get chicken in a plastic freezer bag, reuse bags that you would normally put in the trash.
Love that.
For this process so you're not wasting anything else.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Talk about making it super easy on my homeowners and me. We got to make sure Dad listens to this and the boys listen to this so that way our trash gets Is the trash guy over there? So, to me, it seems very reasonable to take your food waste and throw it in with the green waste. That seems very reasonable. How hard is that really?
Like you said, just getting the cans and bottles in the recycle bin can sometimes be challenging.
Same thing.
Getting people to scrape their plates. And if you were putting it down the disposal, that's fine. But if you're used to throwing something in the trash, all of a sudden having a bucket on your counter that's got this, that attracts flies and things, feels a little uncomfortable, unnatural, a little gross. So, but I will say this, give it a shot. And even if you don't go all the way all at once because it scares you, start with the paper towels, start with something you feel comfortable with. Then maybe you add the produce to it, and phase yourself into it so that you develop the habits and you start getting comfortable with it. Because it can be a little overwhelming, but it creates amazing things for the environment. Let me tell you,
Please tell.
If it's anaerobically digested, it creates energy. So it's reducing our need for oil extraction, right? It's this great alternative energy form that the amount of homes that it can power and cars is pretty dramatic. Wow. And then that the part that gets composted creates compost to grow healthy crops, create healthy soil. That compost absorbs greenhouse gases from the environment to create less global warming impact. So there's a lot of amazing things that come out of it. I have Grow to Zero Farms, which is my all organic little urban farm in Long Beach. We utilize compost to grow our food instead of using pesticides and herbicides. So it's creating something that's really beneficial for the environment, and it's something that we can do to have that lasting impact.
I love it. Right? So we just went over it. How does it impact the residents every day, right? Our podcast listeners, listen up. She just went over what it will do for environment, for you Tesla drivers, because, we get that all the time. I'm like, can I add to your marketing description that you have whatever the parking thing is, the plug-in for their cars, right? That's the new thing. And, everyone wants that. So being a part of this helps with so many other things.
Yep.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right. So my question for you is, as a life business, whatever you want to call, if you could leave life or business, right? Because you're both, you encapsulate the whole, you're single, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, peeps out there, she's single. Right? I'm just saying, she encapsulates it all. Amazing, beautiful business owner, future oriented. You care about the world. You're godly. You're the whole package. Beautiful.
Thank you, Lori.
I am blessed
and
grateful for you. Yeah. What is one tip you could leave with our listeners for them so that they can move their life to live their best life ever? Because I know you are.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, I do feel like I'm living my best life.
Oh, I know it. One
change at a time.
Yeah.
One small change at a time. So developing good habits doesn't happen overnight, and they definitely will not stick if you're a New Year's resolution and you put too many things on your plate. Yeah. So I always like to, when I would talk to new students and new people getting in, going, what is the one thing I can do? There's not one thing you can do. Pick the one thing that matters most to you. So if water is important to you, then implement, water saving strategies one at a time. Fix one toilet, put one thing, if you want to make an impact on reducing waste, make one change, start switching one product from a packaged product to a bulk product. Yeah. Reduce paper towels. This was a big one. When my boys were little, we went through a lot of paper towels. So I switched first from bleached to unbleached, which is a big impact. Yeah. And then next thing I said, hey, now we're only going to have one roll of paper towels per week. And then we moved it back to one roll of paper towels per 2 weeks, right? So you make little baby changes. And then, here's a good one for those who like to eat out. Say for lunch, you go get a salad every day somewhere. Carry a pair of reusable fork and knife in your pocket, your purse, whatever, in your car. And instead of getting disposable straw, fork every day at lunch, use the reusables. It adds up because it doesn't matter. Again, you'll see biodegradable plastic forks and stuff. They're better for the environment. No, they're trash. So don't spend your money on that stuff unless they're paper based. Yes. They're not, nothing's happening to them. Yes. But do something, substitute one disposable product with a reusable product. And at your comfort level, take the next step, yes. One at a time.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. So what you just said to me, this is how I make my difference. I will get I'm going to be really honest. Eric is very diligent about water. Okay. He's always yelling at us. You use too much water, you use too much shower, yelling at the boys, get out of the shower, right? Yeah. You're just one person, right? Yeah. But not only that, Eric is he's very good for the environment. He's thinking of our future families too. Yeah. Because I will tell you, when we first got married, going on 25 years here, when we first got married, I would be like, what the heck? He always leaves the same paper towel on the counter all week long. And we have to reuse. And so now, I don't care anymore because now I'm just like, I'll use Eric's paper towel. And I dry my hands and I throw it back on the counter. But as soon as you said that, I'm like, that's awesome. Oh my gosh, my husband totally does that. Yeah. He reuses that paper towel till there's nothing left.
I love it. Oh, give Eric a hug for me. That's awesome.
I'm going to tell him 100% that he's listened to this episode, though he is a good husband and he listens from the perspective he wants to make sure our sound is good. He checks Nolan's work and Irma's work and Amanda's work. But there's a lot of people. It takes a village to do this podcast. Right. Anyways, and we make no money off of it. We just share this with the world because I want the world to be a better place. Cool. And honestly, that's what I loved about when I invited you on the podcast. I knew you did this, but I didn't know you did to this extent. I am humbled to be called your friend. Oh, thank you. I am so thankful and grateful that you care so much for the future of our families, our environment, our world, that you are just living every day for that purpose. Yeah. You are living.
It's fun. I love it.
It's beautiful.
I love what I do. I love what I do. I could have never, I wouldn't trade it for anything. So
if anyone wants to support your passion, how could they go about that?
Well, I would say, participate in the program. I know it's going to be challenging, but there's a lot on the line to get the state below certain levels of disposal that are going to weigh heavy on the cities. So if you want to support the community that you live in, participate in the programs, learn from your young ones, whether you're a parent or a grandparent. The young kids care about this.
They do.
They're bringing it home. They're coming home and they're saying, hey, we need to recycle this, or hey, we need to stop buying these products. Support them in that. Because they really are going to be the future of what happens next with the environment. And I feel so excited about how things have transformed just since I've been in this industry. I can't imagine the impact that our children and grandchildren, we have them, are going to make. But be supportive of that because they have a lot of care for the environment, for people, for animals. And so I think this is a way that we can support them in that effort.
Change is different. And when you change, you're only improving what's happening with the world. It truly is exactly that, right? Change moves us forward. When we continue to do the same things over and over again, we'll get the same results. Yeah. We want better results because I remember someone said to me the other day, they said, hey, do you remember when we used to go outside and play on the playground and we would have to go in because of the high smog alerts? And I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. I had forgotten about that. Yeah. And the reality is, our kids don't have that to deal with today. Yeah. Because they've we've changed the way we're living in the environment. We're just improving and improving and improving.
Right.
And hey, okay, here's the plug for my beautiful Ganesha Hills house that has a wonderful view, right? That's because people care about the environment. That's why the views are. If you're a view homeowner, you should especially care because it protects your home values. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying there's another one.
Yeah.
There's another simple way to help you if you need to know, how does this help me? Right.
And if you are doing remodeling in your kitchen and you're building in a space cubby for your trash and recycling, build in a space for trash, recycling, and organics now so that you're ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, I was just thinking that right now, like 3 waste bins instead of 2, right?
Yes.
That's exactly what I was just thinking. I was like, oh, for every one of my clients that close on a new home, we should give them 3 different waste bins.
Yes.
Now, just to encourage them to start thinking that way.
Yep.
I absolutely love that. All right, Judi, we could talk forever. I can already tell, and I'm not going to do that to you all, including you. I know you're a busy woman and you have a lot going on. So tell people if they want to be in touch with you, how can they do that?
Sure. If you're interested, well, I'll just throw out my email address. You can go to our website. I have a few of them, but go the number 2 and 0, ZERO.net is our website. And I'm Judi, JUDI, at go20.net. Or you can also check out our urban farm in Long Beach at grow20farms.org.
I love it. We will also have that all in the bottom of the comments and everything, so you can find all our contact info, right? Judi, thank you for taking time out of your busy day.
No, I was excited. This is my first podcast.
Oh, you did fantastic.
So
you need to do more.
It's a first.
I'll be her booking agent. I'm teasing. You know how to get a hold of her. Please invite her on. She is amazing.
Thank you.
And we love all our clients out there, all our homeowners, our buyers and investors, everyone. I'll tell you, people listen to this podcast all over the place. We're in California, so apply this to California principles and know if you're out of the area that we can help you figure out what's going on where you're at too, with connecting you with other professionals in the area. So